so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
A little housekeeping. We've got two new members today. David Hartman, could you stand up, please? Give us about a 30-second history of your life.
Officially retired now. I was in the United States Navy Medical Corps for 20 years, and then at the Penn State College of Medicine for 30 years. We recently retired and now live in the Masonic Village.
Thank you, David. Yeah, you did it. Okay, Thomas Pepper.
Hi, my name's Tom Pappas. I just joined. I've been a member of the YMCA here since 1965. I'm retired from the, semi-retired from the Maple Restaurant, but the key word is semi. And I'm looking forward to this organization. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Okay, the Fun Bunch is meeting at Sunny Jim's today. If you guys want to join the crew, they're always looking forward to new members. Other than that, please turn your cell phones off at this point so we can have a nice, quiet presentation time for Robin. Other than that, I'll turn the mic over to Paul, who's going to do the introduction.
I'd like to introduce Robin Cole. Robin, please come up front. This is Robin Cole. He was a Steelers linebacker. He was born in Compton, California, and he's 7 of 10 children. He got educated at the University of New Mexico, where he became an All-American. He was a first-round draft pick by the Steelers, part of the famous Pittsburgh Steel Curtain. 12 seasons as a Steeler, played on 2 Super Bowls, and played 1 season with the New York Jets.
That's good, Paul.
He trained at Ford Motor Company, very involved in charitable activities, lives in Western Pennsylvania with his wife Judith and daughter Myra. He had 20 sacks. He's also past president of the Steelers. Let's introduce Robin Cole.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Now, I said All-American. I was All-American even prior to becoming an All-American. You know what that means. And I was always an American. I ain't, that's all I know is American, so that's the way it is. But thank you, guys. Thank you for the opportunity to come out here and be a part of this today. I enjoy when I get the opportunity to chew the fat. I just don't get that opportunity at home. Used to when I was by myself. Yeah, but you guys are all old enough to understand what I'm talking about. I don't get the opportunity to talk at home that much, unless something happens, and then I just listen then because I'm blamed. But I remember the good years, though. I remember the good years. I was just sharing a minute ago about qualifications, about joining the club, and I said, well, I guess I'm about there now. I'm 64 years old. I'll be turning 65 this year, so I'll be in position B, right? I guess that's called position. Is that position B? We call that. Yeah. And I'll be in position B to hopefully qualify for some free stuff. You know, we live our lives to qualify for some free stuff, right? I mean, all these years, you know, you work for everything you get. Is it okay that I'm going to share something with you? I'm going to have a good time. Is that all right? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to laugh a little bit. Now, some of you guys looking at me like I strangled the chicken. I wasn't a part of that. I don't know what's happening. But as we go, we're gonna talk about some good things, and it's a lot of good things that's still going on with me. My wife and I, we let me ask you something. What do you guys want to talk about? I'm talking about life in general.
Go for it.
Okay, and then I'll get to I'll ask some questions if you want to talk about what I know about football, which is very little anymore. I used to know a whole lot. It used to be a running game along with the passing game, and this seems like it's back, where you have to have a balance of running and passing, and then probably next year they change the rules again, so we'll probably get more passing than running in, simply because of our wide receivers, which have always been fickle. And I'm not saying anything about some of you guys that have played wide receiver at football, but you know, we know that. We've always been fickle. I was a tight end. I used to come to the sideline all the time, throw me the ball. And so now that they throw the ball all the time into the wide receivers, now we're starting to hear a whole lot more about their progress and some of the things that they like to do and some of the things that they want to do, and they consider themselves the dominant people on the football field. And it's kind of like that, them and the quarterback. I just have no idea what's going on with Brown and some of these other wide receiver players. I have no idea. I don't know. It may be a mixture of a couple of things that's going on upstairs with him. I don't know, but we're gonna pray for him, and hopefully that all of those things kind of come together later on down the road. But I just who was here last? Was Andy Russell here? Or someone, was Andy here last? Okay, had Andy here. Who did you have before? Did you have somebody else this past year? I know a couple of years. You guys had quite a few people. Paul, who did we have here? Swanson. Okay, a couple of guys that kind of live in the area then. Swan, Jack Ham. Is Jack Ham? Has been here? You haven't had Jack? No. Can't afford Jack. Yeah. You got Lambert either. Okay. All right. So yeah, we've had an inkling of a couple of good people that played the game over the years. I remember my first time hitting the ground in Pittsburgh. I used to always say that Chuck Noll was still upset at me even throughout my career. And why is that? It's because right after the draft, before I came here and introduced myself and had an opportunity to meet the head coach man-to-man, face-to-face, I was at the University of New Mexico, out in the middle of all that country, okay, or all that desert, whatever you want to call it. And I can remember the draft day. It was 9:50. Looked at the clock when the telephone rang. I received a telephone call at 9:50. A guy by the name of Woody Wittenhofer said, "Hey, Robin, our draft is coming up, and in 10 minutes, I want to keep you on the line." And he asked me a question. He said, "Will you play for the Pittsburgh Steelers?" And I said, back then, I'll play for anybody. You paying, I'm playing, okay? That was kind of the way it was. I don't care who you are. I just wear a different uniform. But he says, okay, our draft is coming up, and then after the draft, he said, I want to keep you on the line because we have the media all in this room, and all of them were at Three River Stadium in a room similar to this, and all of them had there were the pencils and papers back then. And then their typewriters, probably had their typewriters there, and I just went from, I can hear, I'm on the telephone because we weren't face to face like we can do nowadays. You can be someplace and you can see the guy's face. I couldn't see, I didn't know what they looked like, or any of them looked like. I knew this, I knew some of the personnel people because they came to the university, and some of those guys were they handled most of the recruiting, were at some of the bowl games after the season was over. So I met those people, but I hadn't met any of the staff members at all. And so now I'm speaking to the media, and the media is throwing all types of questions, and I'm excited about it. Here I am. I know what it's like to be excited. I know what it's like to be so excited to think that, well, you're the next great thing that's coming through. Okay? So when guys get excited and they start saying a whole lot of things when they get drafted, I understand it. I was there. Oh man, I remember when I said some things that didn't make a whole lot of sense to anybody, but I can I relate to them. And so there I was. Okay, I'm sitting there and I'm talking on the telephone and I'm sharing all these ideas. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers need this and they need that. I'm the man. Okay, here I come. Okay, if you're not ready, get ready. Okay, because I'm coming to Pittsburgh. All right, and this, and I'm picturing, okay, how I can fit in and then how I can make a difference maybe with the team. They only went to 2 Super Bowls. They only went to 2. So I'm when I get there, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, man, we're gonna go back, right? And I can recall saying all these things, and as I'm speaking, and then somebody asked me a question. I heard a guy says, a voice kind of changed out of all the people that I was talking to, and I heard a guy say, hey! And it's just like stunned me, and I said, hey! What do they call you? Okay. Well, what do you mean? He said, your nickname. You got a nickname? I said, oh, they call me Madman. Madman? I said, wait a minute, this guy, how did I must be disconnected. Because all of a sudden, to me, I said, man, this guy sounds a little bit like Howard Cosell, but his pitch is a whole lot higher. And I'm saying, is somebody being funny here? Okay? I'm looking at the phone back on, and so he started talking, and we're talking, and I'm sharing some ideas. He said, well, who was your heroes when you played? And my hero, I said, well, college ball you talking about? He said, no, professionally. Anybody you watch? I said, well, I wouldn't call them my heroes because I don't know them personally. I mean, to call somebody a hero, for me as a young man, even though I'm coming from Compton, California with 2 nickels in my pocket, I still, my heroes, I'm kind of choosy when it comes to them. Well, don't you like somebody to play? You watch the way they play. You handle yourself and how your kind of game. Well, I said I'm from California, and my team in California is a California team because we hardly watched anybody. I said, but it wasn't the Los Angeles Rams because the Los Angeles Rams, when they played home game, their games were never on television, only the away games. So we hardly got a chance to see them. And then when they played away, who was watching? And so I said, so the team that we would always see was the Oakland Raiders. He says, Oakland Raiders? So I said, okay, let me start all over again. My name's Robin Cole. Even though I'll go to the University of New Mexico, I'm from Compton, California. I'm straight out of Compton, Los Angeles County, okay? We have black and white television still. Okay? I don't know what colors they wear, all right? Because that's the only thing I've seen. Right? So I'm from the California area, so I choose a California team. It's not the Chargers, it's not the Rams or San Francisco. It's the Raiders. Well, who did you like on the Raiders? I said, well, I kind of like them all. I said, no, Raiders is not the only team I like different players on. There's other teams that I like players on. Well, tell me somebody about the Raiders now. Little did I know. This was 1977. This was the year that all the rules changed after, okay, going through with Mel Blount, with the Mel Blount rule, and they call it Mel Blount rule, the jamming rule, and some of the hating. This is what they call what is called a criminal element. They called it back in those days, back in the times that considered a criminal element, and Mel Blount, the criminal element. You guys are, you're playing them back and forth. And Chuck was in the middle of all this. Little did I know. And so I'm talking about it. I said, well, I like the way that Tatum played. Jack Tatum, you know how dirty he played. And I was going on. I said, wow, that's football. I mean, that's the way I learned how to play football. We play in the mud, we play in the dirt. We fight. I mean, it's like, it's a couple of games, and I started trying to explain. There's a couple of games going on. You have a team that's playing against a team, and they're trying to compete and trying to move the ball up the field. The other team is trying to take the ball away from them when they're playing defense. Back and forth, you don't understand football. I mean, so I'm trying to explain this stuff to Michael. He understands the game. But at the same time, there's another fight that's going on. The personal fight that's going on. The guy you line up across. Okay? And you have a personal fight going on. You got a team thing going on, but you have a personal fight, and you're trying to win the personal fight. Okay? I have to line up against the tight end, I have to line up against the tackle. I have to win the personal fight before I'll get the opportunity to get to the ball and tackle the guy. Okay? You don't win the personal fight, you don't make any tackles. You don't make any tackles, they only call your name out probably one time, and that's the introduction. No more. Today you hear guys that, they're mic'd up and everything, and somebody make a tackle, you can hear them scream your name out. So-and-so make the tackle. Okay, guys were excited about that. I remember L.C. Greenwood, which was a roommate of mine for about 5 years after Dwight White resigned. Got fired. He used to, LC said he started throwing his feet up. That's when he decided to go with the gold shoes. And he would throw his feet up, okay? So they would see the gold shoes, and they would say, LC Greenwood made the tackle. Okay? That's why LC started the gold shoe thing, and he was kicking his feet. You'll see him when he plays, when he makes a tackle, you'll see his feet go up in there. And that's why he kicked his feet up, okay? Because you know how we are. We're all human beings. We want to hear our name somewhere along the line, okay? And to hear your name in a big stadium, a Three River Stadium, or whatever stadium you're in, somebody's announcing your name. You made the play. Back when you're in high school, you never heard anybody anything. You heard somebody was talking about, hey, where's the donuts? All right, while you're playing the football game, okay? Or, did you bring the ice? Something like that. So you have all those things going on. So we're talking about players, and we're talking, then I like the way Atkinson play, and then I said, well, no, and then I like, as linebackers, I'm playing this. Now, I come to Pittsburgh, okay, it's my time to report to Pittsburgh, meet the head coach, and meet the staff, and blah, 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 because that year I was drafted in the first round that year. And so I'm coming in to meet the people. And before I met anybody, I walk into, anybody remember Three River Stadium? You guys remember that? I know you've seen it before. I don't know if you remember it, okay? Because I don't remember too much anymore, all right? But here we go. All right, ride with me, all right? We're going around that corner. We're on the roller coaster, okay? Where was I? I'm serious. So here we are, we're talking. So I report now. I walk through the front door, and I'm going in Three Rivers and say, wow, this is nice. Big picture. If you've ever been in Three River Stadium, there's a big picture that was in the back. And I still have one similar picture because they moved the picture. Well, it was a big picture. Guess what team it was? The Raiders. Steelers and the Raiders. Goal line stand. That picture is still over in Three Rivers. Still not Three Rivers now, it's Heinz Field. It's a big picture, but it's not right when you walk in. It's when you go upstairs, and then you have that big picture still there. And I walk in, and there it is, the Raiders and the Steelers. I walk in, and I'm bubbly like myself. I introduce myself to the receptionist as Robin Cole, and she looked at me, and she says, oh, so you're that guy. And then right there it changed for me. I'm that guy. Wow. That didn't sound right, okay? I mean, that didn't sound like you're that guy, that first round draft pick that's supposed to come in here and help us and replace Andy Russell and shut down the right side of the football field, you know. You're that guy. No, it didn't sound like that. It was, you're that guy. Something's wrong here. Okay, ma'am, what do you mean by that? She said, well, you're that guy that's doing all that talking. Doing all that talking? Do what talking? I haven't spoken to anybody. Well, it's in the newspaper. What? I'll get it for you. Well, how long has it been in the newspaper? Oh, that was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? I said, 2 weeks ago? And you still thinking about it? I better hurry up and see this. She got the newspaper for me, and I just said, oh, you go ahead and read that while you wait for the coach. And so I opened it up, and I looked. She said, go to the sports page. And right in the front page of the sports page, it says, Atkinson Tatum Coach Heroes. Wow. Now, little did I know, I hadn't heard the news. I had no idea what was going on here in Pittsburgh and Oakland. Okay, nobody called me down in New Mexico. In fact, no one called anybody in New Mexico, so it wasn't in our news, okay, about what was going on in the National Football League and about the criminal element and all the situation that was happening here and the thing and the battle that was going on between them. You don't like me, I don't like you, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. I wasn't in the middle of that. That was my team. It slipped. Young kid, 21 years old, had no idea. And I come and that whole piece was about how I like the Raiders. And then it was almost like they turned the whole team against me. Okay? Wait till John Cole gets his hands on this kid. Wait till so-and-so, God, everybody gonna get their hands on me. I'm on your team. All right? What's happening here? Okay? What is this? Why did somebody inform me that this was going on? And from that point on, I just realized when Chuck shook my hand, he kind of shook my hand like sideways. You know? And that's where I said, Chuck, we still have to have a conversation. Somewhere along the line, God bless his soul, we didn't get a chance to have that conversation. I kind of stopped thinking about it anymore after an extended period of time, after being a part of a great team and being understanding a great coach, understanding a situation that I was blessed to become a part of. It kind of faded for me, But every once in a while I think about it and say it, because I told him, said, well, one day we got to catch up. After he cut me, he told me, he said, oh, we'll catch up another time, but we never did catch up. So, and so I wanted to kind of fill him out. I'm still, sometimes I think about that. Well, what was your thoughts? What was on your mind? But he's man enough to not even bring it up again, because you know, as we work together, as as I became a part of the team that he was able to develop and put together, it was just phenomenal, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, not at all. But that's where that came up. Okay, that Chuck was still mad at me. Because throughout the year I said, Chuck, I got this. I mean, let me blitz a couple of times this game. And I'll blitz once, I get a sack, and I said, oh, this is a 5-sack night, and I never get a chance to blitz again. I said, oh, give me some of the freedom that you give to that kid in New York, LT, which I came out before LT. In fact, I had more sacks than him my junior year. I had 21 sacks. He didn't have that many that year, so that was my position. I didn't get a chance to really show my position as I thought. As I go back and I look back at some of the old film and some of the old videos. But that was part of the football life, you know. My first roommate, I could remember, we're on the road. First roommate during preseason, myself and Tony Dungy were roommates. Then, when the season started, and then they shuffle us around, because now it's a team. And I walk into my room, and I come early enough. To the hotel that we stayed in Bethel Park, over here at South Hills. And I walk into my room, and I choose the bed on the right-hand side. I walk in the room, and somebody's got their bag on my bed. So, and I thought I was early enough to where I can choose my bed, and then we can, communicate. And then I would ask him, hey, what bed would you prefer? I'm okay with either side, but but I wanted to be there soon enough or early enough to where I could, if he asked me that question back, I'd say, I like the bed on the right hand side. But he wasn't there. So I come and I said, somebody got here earlier than I did, and I know I'm here early because I'd like to come and get something to eat. He's here before I am, so I picked up the bag and put the bag on the bed on the left-hand side. And so now as the days progressing, I said, 11 o'clock at night. That's they're coming by and bed check is at 11 o'clock, and it's 5 to 11. I said, man, this guy's cutting it close, isn't he? So I'm just waiting around, and Dwight White comes by. The door was open. Dwight White comes by, look in the rooms, and my nickname was Chili Bowl. He said, Chili Bowl, who you rooming with? I said, I have no idea who I'm rooming with. Whoever, he's not here. I haven't seen him yet. He said, oh, okay. And then behind him, somebody pushes him in the room. Turns around, it's Joe Green. And so I didn't think I was in the room with Joe Green. Okay, I thought Joe came by and pushed him in the room. And he's talking to Joe, and I'm sitting in the room, we're talking, and he says, what room are you in? He said, I'm in this room. And I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, okay, on the edge of my bed. And Joe said, I'm in this room. You should have saw me. I was almost like Houdini. I hopped up so fast, I grabbed that bag so fast, put that bag over here so fast, and straightened out the bed. Okay? I said, and I'm talking to Joe, I didn't know you were in here. I said, man, I'm sorry, I was just, warming up your bed for you. And then Joe asked me, he said, no problem. He said, what bed would you like? So he asked me, he said, what you he said, I don't care. I can sleep on any side. I said, oh, okay, well, I normally sleep on the bed on the right, if that's okay. He said, oh, shoot. So we're roomed that year. Now, it's arm here. I blame this on Joe. See that broken arm? Now, Joe didn't break my arm. I broke the arm. I broke the arm because I took it easy on a quarterback. It's the last one I took it easy on. And that was the first one I took it easy on. Quarterback scramble. I was in the fourth quarters, playing in the fourth quarter. I thought I should have been playing the third quarter because I was splitting time. Lauren Taves and I was splitting time. I had played the whole 6 preseason games, so I thought I'd get the opportunity to start the game, okay? Because we were going to alternate. And the coach said, well, whoever played the best game is going to be the starter, okay? Well, fantastic. Well, I played the whole preseason. If you missed the whole preseason, I think maybe let the guys that played the whole preseason start first, play the first quarter, and then you do it however you want to do it in the second half of the football game. But I was in the fourth quarter, and we were in the fourth quarter playing the San Francisco 49ers, Monday Night Football, 1977. There we were in the quarterback scrambles, and we're 2 touchdowns ahead. Right? Now, because of all this criminal stuff that they had in the newspaper, that's in the back of my head. So I'm thinking about that stuff's going on too. So now, normally I would have came up and I would have flattened him. Literally flattened him, normally, okay? That's the way I prepared myself, okay? Flatten him, all right? In quarterback scrambles, and I dropped back to my zone, and I said, oh, shucks, he's gonna have to run because evidently we got everybody covered back here. And he starts a scramble and comes my way. I said, okay, here we go. And I take off towards him. I go to hit him, and right before I hit him, I said, don't kill him. And so I go down on his legs. And when I go down on his legs, I led with this right arm right across his knee, broke it in half. Now you say, what did that have to do with Joe? The reason why I blame that on Joe, because Dwight White said, man, they threw you in the room with Joe. What do you mean by that? Threw me in the room with Joe. Yeah, Joe sleepwalks. Where do you think he got his name from? Mean Joe. It didn't have nothing to do with the football field. It has everything to do with what he does off the football field. I said, what are you talking about, Dwight? Oh man, you better keep sleep with one eye open. All night long, every time I heard him snore or spit or snooze or get up and use the restroom, I was up. All night long, I was up. And it was a Monday night game, so I was trying to sleep during the day. Couldn't sleep during the day because we had a pregame meal in the morning. You had to report that, and we had some other film that we would watch for that. And then once your day is gone, you're thinking about the game. You all nervous. You're trying to rest at the same time. Couldn't get any rest. Am I done? Okay. I'm a long night.
You're a good chef.
Yeah, I'm just warming up. Some of you are gonna go to sleep. Some of you already done went to sleep. You're fighting. That's okay. Huh? Do I sleepwalk? I don't know. I never have. I've never known to. My wife has never told me, said I sleepwalk, but she snores, so she wouldn't hear me moving anyway. No, I don't even know how to sleepwalk. Okay, where was I? Joe, okay. That's why I'm blaming on Joe, because I ended up staying up. I didn't get any rest. I was tired. And what happened was, as far as I was concerned, I let that mess with my head. I got too much going on in my head at the time, and I'm out here playing this football game. All right? And that's some of the things that can happen to you, even though you go to, you gentlemen, you guys, some of you guys may be retired, some of you guys may still working, or however you go about doing your thing, but you go to work sometimes. You go to work sometimes with all the and I won't call it pressure, but all the thoughts of what happened last night or night before last, and what mama did, and what the kids did, and what everybody did, and you got to go to work. And you go to work, you try to put those things aside because you're at work. But you've been doing your job for so long that you know how to put those things aside. You just don't talk about them. But you're at work, you're away from it, you're out of it, you're out of the way of it for a little while. So what's going on over here is that you're okay, well, I don't need to talk to anybody that much today. Let me get my thoughts together, because when I get back home, I know I have to deal with something else, because we're going to have another board meeting. Okay, Mama and I. Okay? And on and on and on and on it goes. And the same thing happens to that happens to you, happens to a football player during a football game. You watch guys, and man, that guy had the last two games, fantastic game. What's wrong with his head? Look at him on the field. He's got this, he can't catch the ball. What, missing the tackles. Because he's got mama at home, he's got mama at home, and she's at the game. She's at the game, she can't wait till the football game's over, because she can get right back on his case again, okay? Or whatever he's dealing with, or whatever you're dealing with, okay? And it happens. It's the way of the world, okay? It happens. And you're dealing with all these things as you go. Oh, I got to make this much money, and I have to have this much this. Oh, I got to fix on this. Right now, I am putting city water in. Okay, these guys have been at my house since not this past Monday, last Monday. Two guys, Larry and Curly. Now, if they would have bought Mo, the job would be done. Mo didn't come. I got Larry and Curly at the house, okay? They start digging a trench. They supposed to know. The guy tells me he's the best one of my best drivers. And I asked him, I said, how do you know he's your best driver? He said, well, no, he handles that backhoe the best, and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. I said, well, he started at the top of the road, and we're about, I would say, maybe 30 yards. He's going to dig about 30 yards all the way down to the front of the house. He has to go to the front of the house. It'd be better if he could have gone through the back, but he has to go to the front of the house, because that's where my well is, in the front by the garage, so he had to come across there. So he started at the top of the hill. Okay, about an, I don't know if it was an hour after he started dig up there, him and the other guy, because I've called all I called the gas company was called, all those people were called to come in and put their lines, or where their cable was running, and where the gas lines were running, where the power lines running, right? And so he starts to dig. About an hour later, he come knock on the front door. He said, Mr. Cole, I'm sorry, but I cut through the gas line. God. And I'm saying, well, okay, cut through the gas, okay. Okay, well, I got to call out, he'll be here pretty soon. Gas guy come on. Oh, okay, the gas guy come through, said, oh, Well, that line was an old line. Thank God, that was an old line that was coming across. He said, but the other line is just about 2 feet in front of you. So you're okay with that one. That's because I went up there and said, I don't smell any gas. So now, Larry takes a break. He says, well, since I got to wait for that guy to come, I'm going to take a break. He took a break. I never saw him again. So Larry and Curly comes back the next day. Okay. Did you get that? Everything handled? Yeah, everything's handled. Okay. Where are you going to start back? I said, come on, man. We got to get this stuff. Got to get this job done. Okay. Let's get it done. I said, now I'm going to share with you between about my arm span. When you get to this pole, you see this pole? That's a power line. Okay. Now it goes from that power line under the ground, cross. They got the power line going there. I said, you got the cables going down through there. I said, that's where they are. So as you get close, you're going to have to really watch. Pay attention. You got Carol. You got pay attention, Larry. You have Curly look and watch. Okay. So they're working together. The next day, and they get there at noon. Seemed like they leave about 2:30. This is all week. Now, after they go over to the gas line, guess where I am? I'm at home every freaking day, okay? I can't go any place because these guys are working, all right? If they're working, I'm there. Knock, 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 knock. Yeah, what's happening? Oh, Mr. Code, is your lights, your power working? I said, my light's been flashing. I said, they're off now. He said, oh, well. He said, you know, backhoe grabbed hold of that line and pulled back and snapped it. Oh, that backhoe works itself now. Snap that line. Well, you're gonna have to call your. Well, we also snapped your cable line. How do you know? Well, I saw sparks coming up the ground, so we can't do anything today. Right? Now he's only been there about an hour and a half. Okay, he dug from there to here now. Now it's about here. Okay, got 30 yards to go. Got another 20 yards or so to go. Now it's there. Well, there's nothing I can do right now until. So well, we'll work the other side. No, we got to get this. You got the power line here. So nothing we can do today. He said, well, make that call, find out when that guy's going to come. So I called the power company, Westman Power. They come out, but they leave again. Okay? They don't come back till the next day at noon. Okay, and they're cutting through. And the power line came through. The cable guy came through, and he gave me a whole lot of cable running way around this way. You know, tell these guys, blah 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 blah. Okay, and now they're digging. They got it going, and they're always talking about what they're. Well, we're running into, you got a lot of roots going on, you got a lot of trees, and there's trees everywhere. We're in Pennsylvania, man. There's trees everywhere. I don't want to know about the trees. I know, I cut around them all the time. All right, don't worry about it. You dig through, just keep going. And, they're digging through, and all of a sudden they hit the bottom. Oh, I don't know, but a whole lot of water start running out. Oh, man, wow, how deep are you? He said, I think I hit a water line. You didn't hit any water line. This is what we're putting in, the water line. I said, the well was down there, so it hit the well. I said, that's the French drain. So we got so much water running down this hill, and that water started running out of here and started to fill up. I said, now I got to give you some direction. Okay. You headed towards the house. That water is going to keep coming out all the way, and we're digging this trench all the way to the house. I've never had any water problems in this house. Okay, so, and don't want any. So we need to fix these things. We just can't just let things go. And they motor on and motor on and motor on, motor on. Finally, they get to the house, and they cut through the drains. And I can't figure out how. I don't know if anybody did any of this kind of work, but there's got to be a way to, somehow, with the tools today, I thought that you could find these kinds of things down on the ground. Okay, you may not be specific, but I mean, pretty sure within 5 yards, you'll be able to tell that something's going on down there. But they're still working now. Now they said But when I heard the guy down there, he said, man, we got to go through, he comes around to your front porch. Looked like it's this part, you got to take this part out, and he started to pull up that part of my front porch. And then next thing I heard is a chainsaw. I run out and look and said, he said, well, you know, I can't save these boards. He says, so if I can just cut it over here. So he cut the porch in half, throw it away. And now they're digging underneath there. Now they're supposed to come back again at noon today, okay? Because I have underwater drains that they've cut through. And last night I said, please, you're gonna have to put these drains back together. You cannot not hook, because it looks, they're throwing dirt on top of where the drain goes. I said, you have to reconnect that, okay? I hope you have plans to reconnect that, okay? And you get a little bob, but that bob doesn't mean anything to me, okay? I don't want you to cover this up until I see that you reconnected that. Please don't do this. And I called their main boss and said, hey man, what you sending me out here? You know, I got two of the stooges out here, and it's just been all week. I said, I'll try not to, make too much fuss, but this is crazy. This is crazy. What kind of workers do we have out here? Back in the day, man, we used to pride ourselves about work. And then they're smoking and joking on the job too. They only stay in a couple hours and they're smoking and joking on the job. Okay? And so now things have changed. Things have changed. Things have changed all around. I come from a school that, we're ready. I come from a school that, my first, I've had jobs prior to this, but my first I would consider my major job, where it was, even though I had some, Social Security was involved in some of the other little jobs that I had in the summertime, but this was considered a real job, playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not real money back then, but real job. Benefits and all other things that kind of go along with it. And it was important. It was important to do it the right way. It was important that when you start something, you finish it, and you do the best that you possibly can. Now, that's also, I brought up with parents. My parents kind of taught us how to do things the right way. We just don't especially when it's someone else's property or someone else's something, or you're doing a job for someone. It's important. It's important. And if I can say anything, it's very important that you gentlemen, at the right age that we are, that these young people, wow, if you're around any of them, you have a lot to offer. And they need to hear it. And they need to hear it. They need to hear that if to do a job and complete a job, do it right, okay? Have some pride about yourself and what you're doing. Have some pride about it. And I tell you what, nowadays it just doesn't seem that that's happening. And if we let it continue to go like it is, it's going to get worse and worse and worse, even though we know end times are coming. They're not coming tomorrow. So as we go, and as we spend our time out about and sharing, pull a young person aside. Golly, I don't care. They may look older than they are. Pull a young person aside, start a conversation with them, kind of get to know them, and share with them how important it is to do the right thing, and to do the right thing all the time. And with that, if I had any questions,
Thank you, Robin.
Put away, Robin. God bless.
Okay, questions?
Any questions?
You know what I have to tell Robin? He was talking about joining the club. At 65, we'd have to put you in preschool.
Robin, can you talk to us about CTE?
CTE.
Are you concerned? Is it overblown, or is it going to change the game we love?
Well, it's already changing the game. You have lots of parents that are not letting their kids play sports right now, especially football with head trauma. The way it is, CTE it's golly. What was it? 99% of the guys that have donated their brains after their deaths, 99% of them had CTE. Okay. That's a lot. That's a lot. And the only way you really know that you have CTE is after you're gone, and they crack open your head. because I'm not volunteering that they do it prior. I don't know who else has volunteered for that. Okay, just open me up, check it out. But CTE it's really real. And golly, to think about it, and it started right here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That we're able to catch up with that. And I think, and some guys, don't have to be that old to be having challenges with head trauma. I don't know if Brown has something going on with him right now. I'm concerned. The way his actions are, even though, some football players can be prima donnas, but I think it's serious. Next question.
Robin, up here, back here.
Oh, okay.
Could you please talk a little bit about your foundation, your
Yeah.
Obadiah Cole Foundation?
Yes, the Obadiah Cole Foundation, which started, we named it the Obadiah Cole Foundation because of my father. My father didn't know what he had back in the day. Early 40s is when he was first, I didn't know, he didn't talk about it until I was a young kid at the time. But I could remember my father having challenges with urination, running to the restroom all the time, okay, which were signs back in the day of early stages of prostate cancer. And little did I know that was, and none of my brothers even picked up on that. Okay, my father passed away at the age of 49. By the time my father was 44 years old, prostate cancer had metastasized. It was in his lungs. That's what killed him. I had a cousin that had passed away from a similar situation, and my father smoked. Okay, but we thought it was just lung cancer. But when doctors started to share with me that, well, not too often you get lung cancer, or lung cancer starts in the lungs at that age, in your 40s. Well, you get lung cancer, you're over the age of 50, in your 60s, later on down the road. But it was early, and little did we know that it started in the prostate. But since then, one of my older brothers was the first one to be diagnosed with prostate cancer. And after he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, because of the symptoms that he had, then all of a sudden it started to, when I got checked by every year, I have a physical. And so Doc asked me, anything new happened in the family? And I said, well, you know what? One of my older brothers was diagnosed with prostate cancer this year. He says, and he's typing it in. He says, now I understand the tie-in with your father. He said, your father's cancer in his lungs at that age started in his prostate. 2 years later, my second brother was diagnosed with prostate cancer, which was 2001. 2003, my youngest brother was 40 years old. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer. 2004, when my brother, the youngest brother, is diagnosed with prostate cancer, now I'm 47 years old. In the following year, I have a physical, and I get checked, and Doc says, I'm going to start sending, because of your family history, I'm going to begin to send you to a urologist, so urologist can start following this prostate stuff with you. Okay? I said, well, anything going on? He said, well, your PSA number rose 1 point. I said, okay, 1 point. I said, it went from what to what? He said, it went from 1 to 2. He said, I wouldn't normally talk to you this much about prostate cancer because, normally it's a disease that hits you later on in life. He said, but because of your family's history, and your father passed away at the age of 49, in your family, this could be active a whole lot sooner than later. And so my PSA was 2. So he sent me to the urologist, and the urologist, we went around a little bit, and then he says, you have no swelling doing the DRE, which is the digital examination, rectal examination. He says, you have no swelling, don't feel anything. He said, I don't think anything's wrong with you. Don't even worry about it. He said, if you're concerned, and he said, why don't you do this? We can come back and in 6 months, we'll do another blood test. 6 months. And I had just asked a question. I said, Doc, how do I know for sure today? Is it a way that you can know for sure today? He said, yeah, we can do a biopsy. I said, okay, well, let's do the biopsy. He said, well, no, biopsy is not just something that you do like taking blood. He said, biopsies, sometimes it can be tough, and you need to go home and talk it over with your wife. I said, talking with my wife. It sounds like it's something that if you can hit something and kill somebody. Oh, no, it's not like that. He said, but your wife's a nurse, so she understands this. Talking over, I said, look here, you set up an appointment. I'll tell my wife that we're gonna do this and get it done because I need to know. And it came back that I was positive. Okay, at a 2. Today, we share with people that normally a 4 is when they start to watch a little bit. 4, 5, 6, that's not really high for most men. But if you have a family history, and we all have family history, okay, regardless of what you believe, okay? If you believe in the Big Bang Theory, and out of the Big Bang Theory came human beings, you all came from the same place. If you believe in Adam and Eve, you still came from the same place. So regardless of where you came from, you're all brothers, okay? Whether you recognize it or not. You may say, well, indirectly, somebody in my family way over here had something, but we don't know. Well, that's why it's important that we all get checked. Because we don't know. We don't know what our great-grandfather had. We don't know. How long did he live? Oh, he only lived to be 32. He may have had something. Okay? And that's why it's important that with our foundation that was started, and was started back in 2005, that getting men checked, getting everyone to understand their bodies. Okay? We kind of understand our bodies, how it works on the outside, and what mentally plan we have for it and what we wanted to do. But sometimes what's going on the inside is not there. See, right now, all of us right now, if I start bouncing a basketball, and if you play basketball, and I throw that basketball to you, you start bouncing that thing thinking you know how to play it again. Okay? And you start bouncing, and you try to bounce, and you're like, oh, well, I used to be able to do that. And I used to be able to do this. Oh, I used to be able to, okay? And you can't do it the way you used to, but your spirit is still young. Your spirit never gets old. The body does. So we still feel that we can do things that we've done many, many, many years ago, and we're just unable to do those things. Because the body continues to age, continues to go.
Robin, oh, excuse me. I'm just going to ask one question, okay?
And I'll come back when I'm finished.
They gave me the microphone, so okay. All right. Following up on the question that was previously asked, when I was in college, high school, and this is in the early 50s, I'm one of the young guys here. We had leather helmets, and it seemed to me we had less trauma from that than they do out of the ballistic things we have today on our heads that they play with, because the game is played differently than it was 60, 70 years ago.
Yeah.
So 2 of the fellows I played with came down with CET in college. I played with them in college.
Mm-hmm.
And one was a fellow named Wayne Hawkins, who played 10 years for the Raiders. He was on their original Raider team that started out.
Okay.
He and Tom Flores, whose name
with
you
Tom.
may know.
Oh yeah.
But those are the only two I know of. But out of high school, with the leather helmets, I don't know anybody that had CTE.
Yeah.
And I maintain contact with those. It's just interesting how the game has changed.
Well, how we begin to find out is that you had men. We have some challenges are going on with right now with Andy Russell. You have men that back in those days, unlike today, you have media, you have television, you have people out speaking, they're going places, and you kind of miss the guys. Back in your day, we didn't have any of that available. Okay, when a guy stopped playing football, he disappeared. If he lived on your street, you knew where he was. If he didn't live on your street, you didn't have no idea what was going on in his family, what was going on with him. A lot of the guys were hiding it. A lot of the guys didn't know what was going on with them. They weren't trying to hide it. They just knew that they weren't right, but they didn't know what was going on. And their wives would not take them out in public because they would have to go someplace with their wives. The wives would have to take them, and the wife got tired of taking them and dropping them off. She didn't want to do that again. She did that when she had babies. Okay? But now she has to do that, or somebody has to be with so-and-so, or somebody has to, take that person around. And you didn't hear about it. You just didn't hear about it. With today, with the information that's out there and what's readily available, and guys been on television and people remember them, Now, you go someplace and you ask, hey, where's so-and-so, so-and-so? Man, I don't know. He don't come out. We don't see him. Okay? We get that a lot of times with Jack Lambert. We don't see him. Okay? He likes to be at home. He likes to be away from people because he sometimes, and I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to discuss that with him. How do you feel? But because he never liked to be around people. Okay, in the first place. So it could, it may not be that, and then again, it could be a little bit of that. We don't know. But there are guys that they just didn't come out anymore. They weren't around. Leather helmets. One of the greatest things about flag football that I learned is how to place my head. Okay. As soon as my sons, when they started playing Pop Warner football, it was funny that I watched these kids, the first 3 practices, I watched these kids practice, and they were running and they were practicing tackling, and when they practiced tackle, they were aware where their head was going. Okay, when they didn't have no helmet on, they weren't gonna put their head in front of hit them anybody with their head. As soon as they put those helmets on, say, hey man, we got the equipment coming in the next day. As soon as they put that equipment on, the kids start dropping their heads and start using that helmet. Okay, it's just something that just when you put a piece of equipment on, they think they're protected. Then they think they're invincible sometimes, or that they're a little tougher. And it's a hard sometimes thing to learn. There's one sport that will teach you how to do it. Well, you can do it in football and practice and eventually get there, but there's a sport that teaches you how to place your head. It's called wrestling. And if I've talked about this now, I'm 60-some years old, and that went fast. I mean, it's like a roll of toilet paper. Golly, the closer you get to the end, the faster that freaking thing rolls. And I used to, you look back, and this is when I was coaching at Robert Morris, and I said, man, if I had a football program that I was putting together right now, I'd have the junior high school kids, they would be playing flag football into the 9th grade. Okay. But every single one of these kids that want to play football, they're going to take wrestling. Now, they don't have to be on a wrestling team, but they're going to be in that gym and learn how to wrestle. And learn how to engage a player.
I played rugby in college.
Okay.
And we learned how to use our heads playing rugby. It is a rough sport.
Oh yeah.
But you didn't have a lot.
You didn't have that. Okay, people put their face. They had they put their face up. They realized it. And if you butted yourself a couple of times with your head, you can even do this at home. You realize, hey, this is important. Okay, I'm not taking my head and just drilling anybody with it. Forget that. But that's one of the things that I would be teaching them. And this is some things that need to be taught. We have a lot of coaches. We got a lot of guys that are head coaches, football coaches, but they're chess players. They can't teach the game like former players can teach it. That's gone through it. That's been in the trenches. I say this all the time. Every time I turn around, when I was trying to get a job in coaching, where did you play? I've been around football all my life. My dad was a coach. And blah, blah. Where did you play for? I didn't play for anybody. And they're all piled up. The head coach gets his job, and he wants a whole lot of people that he can tell what to do. Okay? And he's teaching them how to play football, but he's not teaching them techniques. When I got to the university, left the University of New Mexico, where I learned a whole lot of technique stuff, I learned a lot of it in karate. It was other sports that taught me techniques that I could utilize in football. It wasn't just football. And when I came to Pittsburgh Steelers, I was talking to coach and said, Coach, this particular play, what's happening here, and the way this guy's coming around here, the way we want to close this play, we can't close this play the way that you're talking about. Okay? I said, but I can share with you how we can do that. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just do what I'm telling you to do. So show me. And I did the wrong thing. I asked the linebacker coach to show me something, and he couldn't show it to me. It's right there. I said, okay, now I understand. Okay, the coaching part of this. So I'm like I said, I'm on the other side of it. I'm not chasing anymore. I just chase around and said, let's have a camp, and we start teaching these kids basics and teaching them things that they're not being taught on the football field. Let's teach it to them. But it falls on dead ears. So.
Okay, Ron.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys feeling all right?
you gave us our money's worth.